Good morning, students. Welcome to the new session and to the second term of English Standard 7. Students, you must be imagining many things in your day to day life. Today, we are going to see such a person who is trying to dream of being a king or imagining that if he would be a king, but of which place and what did he imagine, that we are going to see in the poem 3.1 Tartary, where we are going to start your unit 3. Okay, so let's move forward. Now, children, what do you mean by Tartary? Tartary is the vast geographical region of Europe and Asia that was controlled by the Mongols in the 13th and the 14th centuries. Under Genghis Khan, Tartary extended as far as east as the Pacific Ocean. Now let us see who is the poet of this poetry. The poet is Walter de la Mare from 1873 to 1956. He is one of England's greatest poets and a famous writer, especially for children. Probably best known for his poem The Listeners, published in 1912, and his collection Peacock Pie, published in 1913. Now, let us see what is the theme or the central idea of the poem Tartary. In this poem, the poet imagines himself to be the master of that glorious wonderland called Tartary. In this way, he tries to satisfy his unfulfilled desires in a real life. The poem is a journey into the realm of imagination, means the world of imagination. The land of Tartary has been painted as a very far off, charming, and ideal place. Now let us start by reading the poetry, stanza by stanza. If I were Lord of Tartary, myself and me alone, my bed should be of ivory, of beaten gold my throne, and in my court should peacocks flaunt, and in my forests tigers haunt, and in my pools great fishes slant their fins athwart the sun. If I were Lord of Tartary, trumpeters every day to every meal would summon me, and in my courtyard bray. And in the evening lamps would shine, yellow as honey, red as wine, while harp and flute and mandolin made music sweet and gay. If I were Lord of Tartary, I'd wear a robe of beads. White and gold and green they'd be, and clustered thick as seeds. And ere should wane the morning star, I'd don my robe and scimitar, and zebras 7 should draw my car through Tartary's dark glades. Lord of the fruits of Tartary, her rivers silver pale. Lord of the hills of Tartary, glen, thicket, wood and dale. Her flashing stars, her scented breeze, her trembling lake like foamless seas, her bird delighting citron-trees in every purple vale. By Walter de la Mare. So now students, let's understand the poem stanza by stanza. First stanza. If I were Lord of Tartary, myself and me alone, my bed should be of ivory, of beaten gold my throne, and in my court should peacocks flaunt, and in my forests tigers haunt, and in my pools great fishes slant their fins athwart the sun. Now what does this stanza mean? In the first stanza, the poet says about an imaginary and colorful land, and says that only he should be the king of Tartary. His bed would be of ivory, and as a king, his crown would be of beaten gold. In his beautiful court, peacocks would be flaunting. In the forests, tigers would be haunting, and in all the swimming pools, fishes would be slanting and their fins should athwart the sun. Now you have come across some new words here in this first stanza, children. The first one is beaten gold. Now what do you mean by beaten gold? Beaten gold means gold hammered into a flat and thin shape. Then you have come across the word flaunt. They say that peacocks will be flaunting, means peacocks would be showing off proudly. Okay, so flaunt means show off proudly. Then they have said tigers would be haunting. Haunt means to move about freely. Okay, haunting. Then they have said slant. Slant means tilt or move at an angle. Means they were moving in the water with a certain angle. Then they have said athwart the sun. Athwart means across, especially in a slanting direction. Okay, so the fishes would be swimming across in a slanting direction, is what he says in the first stanza. Now let's go to the second stanza. If I were Lord of Tartary, trumpeters every day to every meal would summon me, and in my courtyard bray. And in the evening lamps would shine, yellow as honey, red as wine, while harp and flute and mandolin made music sweet and gay. Now what does this stanza tell you, children? In the second stanza, he thinks of being a king and says about the trumpeters for the royal lunch, and the king would be summoned by the waiters for the food. Everything would be so good and his courtyards should be braying. Now bray means make a noise with the trumpets. In the evening, red and yellow lamps should be shining, which would look like honey and wine, while harp, flute and mandolin would be used for music, which made everything nice. Now here, children, harp, flute and mandolin are the type of musical instruments. You can go and find their pictures on the internet. Flute you already know. Harp and mandolin you can go and find out on the net. Now let us go to the third stanza. What does the third stanza say? If I were Lord of Tartary, I'd wear a robe of beads. White and gold and green they'd be, and clustered thick as seeds. And ere should wane the morning star, I'd don my robe and scimitar, and zebras 7 should draw my car through Tartary's dark glades. Now what does this stanza mean? In the third stanza, he again says that he should be the king of Tartary. He would wear a robe of white, gold and green beads. The beads would be small and thick as seeds. Before the morning star disappears, he would put on his robe and his scimitar. Now scimitar means a sword with a curved blade. After that, he would go on a car which would be drawn by 7 zebras through all of the land of Tartary. Okay, I think this paragraph was a bit easy to be understood. Now we'll go to the last paragraph. Lord of the fruits of Tartary, her rivers silver pale. Lord of the hills of Tartary, glen thicket, wood and dale. Her flashing stars, her scented breeze, her trembling lake like foamless seas, her bird delighting citron-trees in every purple vale. Now what does the last paragraph tell you, children? In the last stanza, the poet says that he would be the lord of fruits of Tartary. The color of the rivers would be silver pale. He would also be the lord of the hills, the valleys, the bushes and the wood, the flashes of the stars of Tartary and the great scent of Tartary, the lakes and seas and the citron trees. everything would be in the purple valley, which would be very great and attractive, and they would attract the delightful birds also. The birds will be delighted by the beautiful atmosphere and they will get attracted there. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed the poetry, children. Now let us see some meanings, children. Beaten gold, gold hammered into a flat, thin shape. Flaunt, show off proudly. Haunt, move about. In this part of the poem, it means move about. Slant, tilt or move at an angle. Athwart, across, especially in a slanting direction. Bray, here in this poem it means make a noise with the trumpets. Mandolin, a musical instrument. Clustered, grouped together. Ere is an Old English word for before. Wane, disappear slowly. Scimitar, a sword with a curved blade. Glade, an open space in a wood or forest. Glen, a narrow valley. Thicket, a dense group of bushes or trees. Dale, valley. Citron-trees means the trees that produce lemon-like fruits. Vale also means valley. Now children, you are going to first copy the poetry down and then you will copy the meanings. And you can also write down the summary of the poem stanza by stanza. Okay? Also write down the central idea of the poem. I hope you understood the poetry and enjoyed the audio or the explanation also. Thank you for listening so patiently, children. Have a good day. Let's meet in our next lecture. Till then, goodbye.